The Greek islands are held with great affection in the hearts of us Brits. Every year, 3 million of us head there for our holidays. And it's easy to see why.
This is Greece, and look at that.
I have a strong affinity with the islands. My mum is Greek. Although she despairs that I still can't speak the lingo. I'm proud of my Greek heritage, my Greekness.
Look my nose.
Look my nose.
But I've only holidayed here, and I've never really explored beyond the tourist trail.
Here we go.
Until now. I'm going to see the hidden side.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Hello, everybody!
Look at it, it's so lush.
From the historical and rugged terrain of Crete...
Oh, I think I'm full.
Steady on. Giannis!
...to the glamour of a sunset in Santorini.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, thank you. Oh, look.
But I'll also be taking in the lesser-known islands, from the architectural splendour of Symi to the natural wonder of Skopelos.
Oh, it makes me proud to be just that little bit Greek.
Before ending my journey on the island where my family story first began.
This is a voyage of discovery, and I'm taking you with me. Crete is the largest of the Greek islands, and I've been here before walking. People flock for the gorgeous white sandy beaches and the abundance of ancient ruins.
It marks the start of my travels around 9 of the most varied of the Greek islands towards my journey's end, back home in Chios. And where better to begin, given that it's the most popular of the islands with British holidaymakers. But there is so much more to Crete than meets the eye.
And to discover the real Crete, you need to head inland.
Known as the rustic and rugged island, Crete's vast interior is dominated by epic mountain ranges that reach 8,000 feet over sea level. And it's home to the Samaria Gorge, Europe's longest and deepest canyon. And the natural beauty is matched by its rich history. Crete is full of ancient treasures and mythic sites, like the Palace of Knossos. In fact, history is at the centre of everything here.
Crete's an enormous island. I've done a little bit of walking, but I'm cheating a bit today. I've got myself a lift. Jay?
Hi, Julia.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good.
I'm half Greek, but even I'm going to need a guide who can not only navigate the toughest of terrain, but the language too.
Right. Vame, vame, as they say.
Vame, vame.
As we're going well and truly off the beaten track. Jay swapped Manchester for Crete over 20 years ago. He's taking me up from the resort of Malia in eastern Crete to go off-road in the Dikti mountains.
So what am I going to see today?
Well, from here now we're going to head up into the mountains. We're going to get to an altitude of about 1,200 metres. So on a part sort of Ben Nevis back in the UK.
Right, my ears will be popping a bit then.
It might be, possibly. And we're going to get a chance to see the true Cretans.
Crete is one of the few Greek islands that can support itself independently, with most rural people producing fruit and vegetables or breeding sheep and goats. We're stopping at the Crete Plateau, renowned for its exceptional produce, and it's known by the locals as the Plateau of Windmills.
Up until the 50s, there was over 10,000 of these water windmills which span the whole plateau.
After their introduction in the early 20th century, these windmills transformed Crete's agricultural landscape.
This is the most fertile place on Crete. So what would happen, the cloth sails would spin, it would bore down 9 metres to the water level. If you're familiar with Archimedes' screw?
Of course, another good Greek.
That corkscrews the water up and that would irrigate all the fields. And now a lot of farmers are re-renovating the old windmills. We're going to try and get it back to what it used to be, which was the oldest eco-park in the world.
Amazing! I love that.
So yeah, just give it a pull.
Okay.
And you can find where it tracks to the wind.
Right, okay, let's find that.
That's it. Perfect.
Clever, the old Greeks, aren't they? What's this here? Look at that. There's a man with his van. Look. Hey, he's brilliant.
That's the village shop.
I love that. A shop on the move.
I mean, what you find throughout today is that the Cretan first, then the Greeks.
Right. So what makes a Cretan a Cretan?
They're just so welcoming and warm. We have a sort of cultural word here called philoxenia.
Philoxenia.
If we stopped at someone's house now, they'd feed you, they'd welcome you with open arms. Absolutely beautiful people.
We're now climbing high up into the dusty Dikti mountains. This is the Cretan wilderness, home to griffon vultures and golden eagles and mountain goats.
Ooh, don't drive over the edge.
Jay has brought me here to meet Giannis, a local shepherd whose family have been farming sheep and goats at the top of this mountain for decades. You don't get more rustic than this.
Hello.
Γεια σου, Giannis.
Γεια σας, Giannis.
Καλώς ορίσατε.
Julia.
Giannis, Giannis, καλά.
Good, that's as far as I
Πολύ
go.
ωραία.
So this is where you live?
Εδώ, κάτω, Κασταμόνιτσα.
So he's originally from Katsmanitsa, the village.
Yeah.
And what happens is he brings all the goats up the mountain
Yeah.
for the whole summer.
Και εδώ, πότε.
They bring them here, and this is where they get milked, and this is where the cheese is made.
Ο παππούς μου, ο πατέρας μου και εγώ από 12 χρονών.
His granddad, his dad, and him.
Okay, so generation after generation.
Three or four generations.
Can I ask why the hairnet?
Το βγάζεις, σκουπίζεις τον υδρότα.
This is part of the traditional Cretan dress as well. Traditional black boots.
Yes, I like those.
Γυρώ.
Okay, let's go see
Hello,
some
Giannis.
cheese
Bye.
being made. Ella.
This little hut is where the magic happens, where Giannis transforms goat's milk into a Cretan cheese called mizithra.
So, what's going on in here?
Έλα, ρίχνουμε αλάτι.
So,
Salt.
underneath here,
Yep.
we've got the fire.
Γιώργη, ένα σγουρό.
You want it hotter,
Wants a bit more hotter.
Hotter. Feel the heat now.
So he's now separating the curds from the whey. He has to get it into decent-sized portions to then transfer it into whatever mould he's making. Now gets as much out as he can with his hand, and then he'll then force it out.
Look at the smile on his face.
Loves it.
Can I have a go?
Yeah. Hello, Giannis.
Or do I squash it down?
Squash it down. Try and do it with your arms.
That is not the texture I was expecting. It's quite rubbery. It's like my kids' Play-Doh. Oh, that's good. A little taste.
Good.
It's such a mild taste, yeah. Fresh as you like. Eating your curds and whey.
That's it.
Over the summer, Giannis says he makes about 25 cheeses a day. That's a whopping 3,000 a year. He sells some of them straight away to the local shops for about 10 or 15 euros a kilo, and he leaves the rest to mature.
This is a hard cheese.
This is the hard cheese.
So you've just let that mature,
2-3 months left just on a wooden shelf.
and it becomes like this, like a
Then it becomes
Parmigiano
that
kind of thing.
Parmesan, cheddar, really good for pasta sauces.
And what have we got here?
So this is raki.
Giannis.
This is traditional Cretan drink. Everybody drinks raki.
Oh, that's pure.
Beautiful.
Pure, and with a bit of cheese?
Bit of cheese. Perfect. There's nothing that can't be cured from raki.
Very good. Oreo.
Yamas.
Right, dancing on the tables next. Oh, Lord. Nothing that can't be cured with raki apart from drunkenness. You can't cure drunkenness with raki. Yamas.
Yamas.
Look at this man. I love this man. Look at that face. Oh, he's having a full.
Steady on.
Two rakis are my limit, so best to head back down the mountain towards the coast now. But on the way, there's a piece of history that I have to tread on. The Minoans, one of the oldest civilizations in Europe, originated here on the island of Crete. and signs of their innovation can still be seen all over the place.
This is the Minoan path, built by the Minoans 4,000 years ago. And look, you can see the fortification of the road along the side. It's a cracking bit of architecture. And it's still here. I had to just jump out and put my feet on here.
Who knows, I might even be treading the same path as the mighty Theseus did when he came to Crete to slay the Minotaur. And it's the Minoans themselves who are leading me back down to the coast, to the historic town of Rathmino, one of the first settlements.
It's very easy to get lost in the maze of beautiful little cobbled streets here.
The Roman and Ottoman empires left their mark, so it's no surprise that it's home to some of the most time-honoured and age-old traditions. One of the oldest is one of my favourites.
This is baklava, Filo pastry, dripping in honey, smothered in nuts, utterly delicious and quite calorific. Now, the Greeks and the Turks have had some disagreements over the years, but you might not have heard of the baklava conflict. Essentially, the Turks claim that baklava began with them and the Greeks claim the same. Whoever is right, it's just to die for.
When I was young, my Mama Moo used to make heaps of dishes with Filo pastry, including spinakopita, spinach pie, and I can't get enough of it. I've heard tales of a living legend hidden in these back streets. The last traditional Filo pastry master in Crete. Giorgos Hatsi Parashos. What? Try saying that with a mouthful of baklava.
So this is the magic flour. And this is sort of a large pizza-sized shape of the Filo pastry that is about to become much, much larger at the hands of Giorgos.
Giorgos has been honing his art for over 75 years.
How old are you?
85. Το 46 μπήκα στη δουλειά.
He's keeping alive an age-old technique that's gone largely unchanged since the time of Homer's Odyssey.
I desperately want to touch it, but I'm restraining myself.
Today, he's helped by his son.
Do you think you're as good as your papa yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, nearly.
It goes by the years. All your life you're learning.
Look at that. Look at the skill. This keeps you fit.
His aim is to get the pastry ultra thin, so Giorgos is tossing and spinning the dough to stretch it out. And then his party trick.
Wow. It's so beautiful.
This man really is a pastry magician.
So what is the secret?
You have to be patient when you stretch the filo. You have to see the humidity. With this, you regulate the differences you have in the atmosphere. Dry, not so dry, little wet. You have to know what you will put.
So this is a real art.
Yes.
It's so lovely to watch. This is how thin the Filo pastry becomes. It's like a fine tissue. Listen to that. Look how delicate that is. That is an art, come on.
The word filo translates as leaf, and it takes many leaves of this ultra-fine pastry to make baklava.
The moment of truth. That really is so special. Like crispy tissues.
Sweet tissues. It's like tasting a piece of Greek history.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ, Giorgos.
Παρακαλώ.
And I'm about to discover more of Crete's past when I visit the atmospheric island of Spinalonga, an island with a story. I'm in Crete, the largest of the 6,000 Greek islands. Each year, 2 million tourists flock to its 650 miles of coastline and descend upon the seaside hotspots, such as Agios Nikolaos and Falasana. I've left behind the rugged landscapes of the Dikti mountains and headed west to the coastal town of Rethymno. This ancient port is a magnet for artists and artisans, so it's brimful of authentic artefacts and curios. Like a lyre. The Cretin Lyra is a legendary instrument unique to this island that predates the violin. And to this day, the sound of the lyre is the soundtrack of Crete. And here in the town resides one of its master makers.
Nico. Hello. Hi, how are you?
Nico's a bit of a Greek god, isn't he? He was taught by his father and he's been making Cretan Lyra since he was a child. Today, his lyra sell for up to €1,000 each.
How long does it take to make a lyra?
You need almost 100 hours. So
100
it's more, yeah,
hours.
it's more than 10 days and more.
That is really incredible.
Exactly. We have three parts, okay? On the back side, we use one piece. We use the in front and the tie, okay?
Yeah.
This work is always work with your mind. But the thing is that you always need your heart because it's a passion.
How important is this music to Crete, to Cretans?
The music is inside us. We love it so much, we can speak with the music for everything.
So music is your language?
I think for all of the people. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it. Of course I
Okay.
want to hear it. Bravo! I don't know if I fell in love with the lyra or Nico then.
Before I wrench myself away from Nico, I want to take the opportunity to try and learn some more Greek, to impress my mum with her mother tongue.
So you need to teach me one thing in Greek.
God said that ο Θεός να σε ευλογεί. The gods want to bless you.
Okay, so how do I say that?
Ο Θεός
Ο Θεός.
να σε ευλογεί.
Oh, that's hard. Ο Θεός να σε ευλογεί. Να σε ευλογεί.
Excellent.
Ο
Excellent.
Θεός να σε ευλογεί.
Exactly.
Okay.
Γη. It's γη.
Ευλογεί.
Γη.
Ευλογεί.
Yeah, good.
I'll try.
Yes.
Thank you, Nico.
Okay.
Just a chance to hug him.
Yeah.
The Cretan lyra is an emotive instrument that echoes the island's turbulent past. Throughout history, the Cretans have suffered. At the hands of the Romans, the Turks, and most recently the Nazis during the Second World War. And a short boat ride from the coast of eastern Crete is a little prison island with a haunting past. Spinalonga wasn't home to criminals. It was Europe's last leper colony. Widely believed to be the world's oldest disease, leprosy causes severe, disfiguring skin sores and nerve damage. Lepers were stigmatised and treated as outcasts. And in Greece, if you caught leprosy, you were sent here, to Spinalonga, for good.
Such a short boat ride over from the mainland, but imagine if you knew that this was your last boat trip, that you were leaving your family, your friends, and your new life was waiting here. A new life with strangers. And this would be the place to die. I can't really imagine it, because now it all seems so pretty and so adventurous.
Since Victoria Hislop wrote a global bestseller about Spinalonga called The Island, it's become a tourist hotspot. And that's how I heard about this tragic story.
Spinalonga was called the Island of Tears. If you fell pregnant while you were here, they would check your baby for leprosy. And if they didn't have leprosy, obviously you'd be crossing your fingers, then your child would be taken away from you, taken back to the mainland to live with your family there. So you'd never see them again. This was a completely self-sufficient island. There were about 400 people that lived on the island, and there are lots of signs that people here were getting on with as normal a life as possible. The Nazis during the occupation of Crete wouldn't step foot on the island. They had no need to, and they were frightened as well. But apparently, snipers would sit on the mainland and take pot shots at the residents here, as if life wasn't bad enough here on Spinalonga. I mean, it looks very beautiful, doesn't it? But there's a very eerie feel here. Because you know behind all of these doors, but there would always be that shadow of sadness in your heart, wouldn't there? The life that you used to have. The last person left this island in 1957. That's not so long ago, is it? 60-odd years?
Spinalonga will leave a lasting impression on me. Crete has a rich history, passionate soul and beautiful landscapes. My next Greek island will certainly have a lot to live up to. Next time, my Grecian Grand Tour takes me to Corfu.
What a special, magical place.
The island renowned for being the least Greek of them all.
Oh, come on. Seriously. It's as if I'm in Venice.
I'll be trekking into its hidden heart in search of secret villages.
Because of the pirate attacks on the island.
Pirate, like real life pirates.
Real-life pirates.
And exploring the unique character which makes it the melting pot of the Med.
Flavours, Katrina, are
The aftertaste.
incredible.
The aftertaste is incredible, yeah.
Corfu, on a plate.